Egypt's 2023 conferences are an important enabler of engagement from government and policy levels to industry leaders and influencers and engineers providing technical enrichment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are watching live the inauguration of the 6th edition of Egypt's 2023. President Abdel Fattah Sisi is going to inaugurate the exhibition, and earlier, Minister of Petroleum Engineer Tariq Al-Mullah said that this edition is going to witness the participation of more than 250 speakers. Egypt's strategic conference sits at the heart of the African and Mediterranean oil, gas, and energy conversation, connecting global industry leaders annually in Cairo to share their thoughts and to share their insights and to be engaged in positive open dialogues and powering a unified dynamic vision and pathway for the region's growth and sustainable energy futures. Shaped by engineers, created for industry, Egypt's technical conference unites the regional and international oil and gas as well as energy communities, from engineers, software specialists to digital and tech-savvy innovators, championing change across the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are watching the arrival of President Abdel Fattah Sisi to inaugurate Egypt's 2023 conference, the 6th edition of the important annual event.
كما ذكرنا مشاهدينا، هذا المؤتمر يحتل أهمية كبيرة وسط الأزمة الاقتصادية العالمية، وكذلك لكي يعمل على طرح مختلف القضايا التي تهدف في الأساس إلى دعم هذا القطاع الهام، قطاع الصناعة، صناعة الطاقة والغاز والبترول، بالإضافة أيضا إلى العمل على تعزيز الشراكات، وكذلك أيضا العمل على زيادة الخروج بمخرجات في منتهى الأهمية، التعاون والاستثمار المشترك بين مصر والدول المشاركة في هذا المؤتمر المهم. مؤتمر إيجيبتس 2023 أيضا يحتل أهمية كبيرة.
In this perspective, according to it is being held after months before holding the World's COP27 in Salam City. It's a city of Sharm el-Sheikh. As we have seen right now, the arrival of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the center of conferences. Afterward, we are going to inaugurate the opening of the 8th edition of this conference 2023. Egypt's conference 2003 is going to take 32,000 participants, and now we are seeing the memorial photo of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Prime Minister, and also the head or the Minister of Power Ministry and Wealth, Mineral Wealth, and also the heads of companies of powers, and also the heads of power sector and petrol. And also the secretaries of the international organizations in the sector, petroleum and gas. We have seen that this conference has a great and special importance because it is held after most COP27 hosted by Egypt 2022, upon which Egypt is going to affirm its own ability to be a direction upon which the whole countries are going to divide its own powers in this sector, and also providing one to remove carbon, to post its own power, to initiate this initiative, to enable all these industrial countries to participate in this conference, and also to achieve this sustainable and be liable to this sustainable environment, and also making itself a great responsible for this climate change and emissions harmful emissions right now is going to cut their own, especially carbon in COP27 has a great importance in order to work on reducing down the emissions and reducing the carbon. Of course, this conference is aiming to activate the COP27's outcomes between the African countries and Mediterranean Sea countries regarding the investment in the field of energy and power, and also moving to the green economy and working of reducing the emissions in a Green Deal and also keeping the environment safe. One of the biggest speakers in this conference is the speaker of the COP during this edition in Egypt 2023, and also the negotiates and also Secretariat of OTEC, and many international organizations and Secretariat of the international organization like OTEC and EGYPS are going to participate in this conference in order to work and exchange this expertise, aiming at the first place to work a great change, a positive one in the future of energy and power in the coming years. Of course, the petroleum sector has a great role in achieving the policy of the state, Egyptian state. It is the traditional center of trading energy and investing in the power sector. The petroleum sector achieved a great success in the last editions, and there is also a great goals of this conference. It is Dr. Engineer Tariq Al-Mulla said that there are 12 agreements are going to be submitted to the representative house in order to be submitted and to be done on the Red Sea and other places in cooperation with the international companies with a cost of $650 million. So there are many achievements done by the petroleum sector in this important sector. It is investment and financing in the sector of power, and it's also the agenda related to this conference has a great deal of discussion, roundtables. So it contains a lot of settings of sustainable of energy and also investment and financing in the field of energy, and also working on taking all the updated technology in the industrial sector. And it is the first time there is rewards, official ones in this sector regarding sustainable field in this sector. So this conference have more than 200 numbers of participants and 500 of exhibits and 260 speakers in the discussions held in this conference, in addition to 65 discussion sessions to discuss many areas of these and all the disciplines related to this sector, and also to support this sector, and also posting the cooperation and investment and mutual investment, and also spotting the light on the new chances here in Egypt, between Egypt and other sectors in many countries also. But also the partnership, mutual one, between Egypt and other different countries all over the world through representatives of government, Ministry of Power, Ministers of Powers, and also heads of petroleum industry and petroleum in all over the world. Egypt 2023 indeed has a great importance and significance. It is the presence of the President of Egypt. Peace be upon you all. Please be seated. His Excellency President of Egypt, Arab Republic of Egypt, all the highnesses and all delegates, ladies and gentlemen, dear attendees, allow me to welcome you all here, our guests of opening and great Egypt's annual petroleum show, Egypt's 2023 in its 6th edition. It's a great event, has a great lead and also heads of states to see and witness all the changes all over the world. And it is now a great challenge that's be affected with the petroleum industries and gas all over the world. There are many success and many steps done, successive ones upon which this sector is taking, and from Egypt and towards Egypt. And under His Excellency, the President, there is a great importance done by the President in this project, in this sector. There are many infrastructure done in a great record. This event, annual one, held all over 3 days this year. It's a great and important conference in the area of the north of Africa and Mediterranean Sea. Now let's show and present regarding the importance of the Egypt's importance.
How do we measure success? By the titles we use for ourselves? With scores and ratings and what we materially gain? Or is success a measure of how we respond to life's opportunities and challenges? How readily we adapt and evolve? How we explore the depths of our understanding and scale the heights of our creativity? Since we last gathered at EGYPS 2022, the world has witnessed unprecedented volatility. As the need for global energy security becomes more urgent than ever, we've had to act together to redraw the energy map. And so, we meet today in Egypt, a country that has developed rapidly in recent years and is moving at pace to realize its vision of becoming a regional energy hub under the governance of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, expanding its infrastructure and launching substantial development projects, leveraging the power of collaboration with a trilateral agreement between the EU, Egypt and Israel to drive energy security further, augmenting the power of the EMGF to progress, grow and develop a sustainable regional gas market, while actively exploring natural gas decarbonization and clean energy initiatives. Since we last met here in 2022, Egypt hosted COP27 at Sharm el-Sheikh, which featured the first ever dedicated thematic day for decarbonization, arranged by Egypt's Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources with active participation of the oil and gas and hard-to-abate industries, all engaged in finding solutions for climate change. COP27 and its Decarbonization Day had major outcomes for the Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, including the announcement of the Egyptian petroleum sector energy efficiency strategy, the Sharm el-Sheikh oil and gas methane reduction roadmap, Egypt's low-carbon hydrogen strategic framework, in addition to the EMGF decarbonization initiative. Egypt has become a unifying voice for Africa's just energy transition, for combating energy poverty across the continent. And under its COP27 presidency, a breakthrough agreement on a new loss and damage fund for vulnerable countries was reached. Over the coming 3 days, we'll enjoy unrivaled scope to explore how global economies will weather current geopolitics and the challenges of inflation and recession, how the next generation of oil, gas and energy ecosystems will evolve, and how stated commitments around energy transition and energy solutions can be turned into real and measurable actions. Though the challenges we face are huge and the landscape turbulent, we persevere to bring our ambition, to fulfill our commitments to succeed, for the benefit of those we love and for humanity at large, for greater prosperity and more equal opportunity, and to secure affordable and sustainable energy for all our communities. Welcome to Egypt. Welcome to the Egypt Petroleum Show.
فخامة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the head of state, all distinguished attendees, let's start this program from a word from Christopher Hansen, the head of DMG company organizing the event.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests,
الضيوف الكرام السيدات
Distinguished guests,
بالإنابة عن
on behalf of
شركائنا الاستراتيجيين
our companies, strategic ones, and also heading of these companies, and also thanking the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, His Excellency, for his own, for giving us time today to be with us today. We are truly honored by your presence to the 6th edition of Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition Conference. It's an international exhibition held here in Egypt. On behalf of the sponsors and all the participants of heading and also participating in the industrial, I would like to thank Engineer Tariq Al-Mulla, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Wealth, for his own support in this perspective, giving us the time needed and all support means and supporting this platform. And this platform is a great one internationally, upon which we do have more than 500 exhibits here in this conference, and we are welcoming more than 1 million visitors in the coming days to participate in the discussions and building also partnerships and also having business partnerships regionally and internationally, and also launching the ability of Egypt as a traditional and strategic partner in the field of industry. A great ones from here from Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition Conference and in its 6th edition. I welcome you all again. And now I'm calling Haitham Al-Ghais, the head secretary of the country's OPEC, to give his own speech, please. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, Your Excellency, the head of and the President of the Republic of Egypt, I'm glad to be under the name of OPEC to give my own thanks and gratitude to you for your own sponsorship and your own care for this event in petroleum industry. We are honored, and it also gives us your own entrance and care in the whole perspective, and also gas and petroleum industry in a special way, and also gives a glimpse of the role of Egypt in this perspective. Allow me, Your Excellency, to put my words in English.
President Sisi, Your Excellency Minister Tariq Al-Mulla,
President of Egypt, it's my pleasure to attend this event here in Egypt as the head secretariat of cities. Yesterday, Minister Al-Mulla was with us in Cairo, in Al-Ma'adi city, having an agreement done with OPEC in order to be carried out by 2059 as a comprehensive what we have discussed in Baghdad. And since that time, the two countries worked with each other as a supporter, supporting this agreement in many countries during the through the ESG and CRC. to use petroleum internationally to achieve stability in the world. It is committed to investment
باستقرار أسعار
with
أسواق الطاقة وكذلك
state
خفض
and also
الانبعاثات
the
الكربونية.
decarbonization and energy transition. Our expectations shows that the demand of petroleum is raised under the end of the COVID-19 to a great number of petroleum. At the end of 2045, but the industry of petroleum suffered the great deal of decreasing of investments. To put this industry in its position, we are expecting that there are 12 trillion needed from now till 2024, which means $5 billion each year. It is important to remember that investments in this sector is a great component of the economic activities, and also to achieve and gains energy in order to achieve stability in the energy market. Also taking all the needs of energy, it is important to know that all the parties all over the world should cooperate and stop for a moment and see the whole picture and work with each other in order to achieve a great step in the sector of petroleum, to have a comprehensive overview in order to achieve and provide more petroleum to the people. You know, COP27 provides a great deal and a chance to have a fair perspective. You know, in Sharm el-Sheikh, we managed to deliver our view, which says there is not only one solution, but there are many solutions for each of us in order to be undertaken in 2028 in Emirates, member of the OPEC, to provide a great opportunity to be one a great comprehensive agreement of the COP and the change of climate. And in the end, I would like to give my own gratitude to the President, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and the ministers and the Ministry al-Mullah, and all the heads of governments and companies working here in the Egypt Petroleum, to participating their own point of view, and we are hoping it's an expanding overview exchange. And now calling Engineer Tariq Al-Mulia, the head of Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Wealth, to give its own opening words. Please. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Egypt, all the Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies attendees, I would like to welcome you all here in one of the most important platforms all over the international and regional. It is the conference, Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition, a conference in its 6th edition. It is achieved as a summit for all who are interested in gas and petroleum industries. I'm here giving my all gratitude and thanking to the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the head of state, who gave his own care, and he is being here a great step in the success of this conference. I'm giving my all gratitude and thanking his own support for this sector. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, all distinguished attendees, the integrate of this edition under supporting the demand of power. It's a great timing because there are many challenges here, sustainable ones, that covers all over the Egypt, and Egypt was there, of course. And in order to decrease these challenges and meeting them and shifting them as a kind of helping actors, so the sector working to achieve all the sources what we are having in order to face these challenges. In the cooperation perspective, the role The Mediterranean gas sector gives its own vision of the leadership of Egypt in its initiative in order to be established. All the efforts of the regional cooperation to increase the exports of Egypt in the Mediterranean and the north of Africa to Europe regarding the message of Egypt more than one unit than the other. All the success of the petroleum sector increases to $18 million, having a great increase on the third year to more $3 billion. And also in the search, there are 3 bets launched all over the world in the digital website of Egypt since it is launched in 2021, and it is to bid 3 of them in the coming years, and there is a ambitious plan launched with our partnerships 2025 to have houses to be done. And in the field of increasing the role of Egypt, the sector of petroleum during the past 8 years to achieve a great step in developing its own infrastructure and also adding more ports and dry ports and other ports, and also increasing the capacity of all the oil expenses, and also increasing the lines of gas to support the national support of gas in Egypt. And the petroleum sector, there are 8 new projects, and we are honored to inaugurate 3 projects of them. In the field of posting the digital transformation in this sector, there are many developments done in this perspective in order to achieve a great development in the operational sector, and also providing the housing with lines of gas. And under Dignity initiative, there are many it's done on this perspective. There are a great deal of cars shifted to the gas system, for more than 500 of cars to reach 900 gas stations. And also we have done many petrochemicals trades with other projects. Your Excellency, all distinguished attendees, the petroleum sector is to achieve its strategic plans in order to serve the sustainable development goals without giving, it's our responsible to the environmental and to the developmental sectors. There is a responsibility in the social perspective in order to sustain and support the participation of the perspective in order to achieve social development, and also success stories to be done in the field of health, education, and other sectors. There is also environmental expansion. In last November, Egypt succeeded to have extraordinary COP27. It is like to be comprehensive and to be done in ground, and it is an outcome on the underground between companies and all governments all over the world, and also to put spotlight on the operations done on the perspectives, and also to give the right its own degradational, and also to provide a great seat for this perspective to give it into Summit COP to the creation of for decarbonizations. Our conference here, during its own last editions, there are many active actions done in the sector of, in order to have, I would like to announce this conference is going to be from its coming edition, Egypt's International Petroleum Exhibition Conference, to have more projects to include all transformation of power to cope with the world challenges in the field of sector, in this sector. Your Excellency, all distinguished attendees, EGYPS is a great platform in order to launch all the initiatives, specialized one, in order to achieve comprehensive cooperation in the field of petroleum and gas, in order to have a great future for the coming generations. And in the end, I would like to give a great thanks and gratitude for His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for being with us here today, and his own care for our conference. I would like to thank all the companies attending here, and I would like also to thank the organization held this conference for their own organization. And I hope this conference is going to be fruitful for all the attendees and for Egypt all prosperity. Thank you all, and peace be upon you all. That the world changes are going to affect all the power sector. You know, this year, under the end of COP27 held for the first time in the effectives done to decarbonization, to have gas and petroleum as done as His Excellency the Minister's son. So the discussion is going to be upon how it is important to have John the Victorious. He is one of the in the agency CNN and business and PMA head in university.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction.
Thank you for your introduction. Your Excellency, I'm glad to see you again, and I'm thanking the Minister for his own invitation, and I'm welcoming all the ministers and heads of governments. So the time is limited here, so we are here. We were here into February, last February. It was a very challenging year. We have faced great challenges in the prices of energies and supplies needed, and we have discussed on COP27 the need of sustainability, and we are taking care of Africa and its need for energy, and all Africa's needs electricity. What we need is the sustainability of this industry. Let's give a hand for what we have achieved here in Egypt in the last years. Let's laud ourselves for the achievements that we have done on the ground. I would like, in a brief, because of the time, in order to, I know that Your Excellency, that your day is full of many activities. I think King Abdullah will be here in Egypt, so we are having a summit after this conference. So we are having till 9:45 or 47 to have your own agreement before starting the session. You know, before starting the session, we would like to have your own comment. So if this discussion is on from 10 years before, to make Egypt center of this perspective, and also supporting gas in this, because what we have achieved in the last 5 years in the Mediterranean area, and Egypt has a great role and a great center in the market of power in order to provide energy for Europe. Let's welcome all the members of this discussion. The Engineer, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Wealth, Engineer Tariq Al-Mulla, he is here with her, and General Smith and John McMullen. Let's welcome them all. We're going to speak in Arabic, please, in order who would like to listen to the other language would like to hit the headphones. We are having 10 minutes here. The point I would like to discuss the question of international cooperation. Why do of us think that there is no discussion of providing of the problematic issue of sustainable energy after the outcome of COP27 and the financing of developing countries? What do we need right now in order to achieve also deepening the international cooperation? And there is a plan providing power sustainability. I think that in the last years, there are many challenges that we faced, as we have witnessed the great change during the COVID-19. And afterwards, also the slowing down of the markets and also the Ukrainian war. It's a very major impact which is going to affect the products of power and securing power needed. So these events is a kind of revealing ones, because there are many things we should put light on and should be done parallelly, and it wasn't prepared during this crisis. So upon which these crises having lack investments towards energy and also decreasing the emissions, and with these crises, of course, the importance of cooperation between countries are going to be the most important thing to do in order to provide a great deal to reach a great end for this gap. So they put investment projects in order to shift transforming energy, and also there is sustainability. So all this should be done parallelly. So we are here today during as we have hosted COP27 and the great reputation and the great outcomes of the discussions in this COP27, in order to stand on what do the country needs, especially the continent of Africa. There is a great success of this conference, upon which to say there is a box or a fund. The compensation fund, because it declares that we were successful in create a reality upon which we are going to head to the right direction. So all these solutions should work together in a parallel way, upon which we are going to move the governments with the major companies of energies and also the funding companies and petroleum companies to provide financing needed and technology needed also for this development. And at the same time as well to work with each other on the transitional power, which is the gas, natural gas, with the emissions, with decarbonization. So we are talking about very technicalities related to reducing and cutting carbonizations. So all these are going to work with each other parallelly, and we have achieved by COP27 to put a roading map, discipline one, as COP28 in Emirates are going to launch from what we have ended. Thank you for that. We are having 1.5 minutes regarding what we have achieved last year. We were to let's use the word Brazilian. I think it's true. We should be flexible we should be flexibility. You were talking about the decarbonization of 45%, but because of Ukrainian war, it is decreased for 500%. So these changes are going to be considered. It's a great pleasure to be here because the PP is celebrating its own existence here in Egypt. So thank you, Your Excellency, President of Egypt, to give us this opportunity to be participants and to participate with you. You know, to speak fastly, during the last challenges, we need a transformation of energy, and we need this transformation to be disciplined and organized. And Dr. Mullah has his own comments stated that we are going to invest in more in the organizations and disciplines and systems, and the updated ones. We are going to put many funds in order to have in general transformation, in order to reach all sectors, which is going to be more over $8 billion. So we are here in Egypt in the field of gas and hydrogen with the chances provided by this country. Thank you. I would like to remember the audience that we have here. The Prime Minister tomorrow are going to give us a great analysis regarding this perspective. Your presence here, you know, what it is about the demand of gas and petroleum here in Egypt and in the desert and the Western Egypt. There are many enabling capacities needed, and also there are a great also support. There are also, how does it reflect on your own work? We have seen a great demand, and we have seen all the comments opening from the Secretariat. So we are expecting there is a great demand because of 10% of the population needs to have affordable energy. So Egypt has a great deal of investment. We have increased our investment upon the vision of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in order to update Egypt in this perspective, because it's providing us with platform to duplicate our investment. We are having more machines in this perspective. We are seeking to meet all the demand here in Egypt. So with the support of the heads, thank you all. So I would like to sum up what we have achieved in a minute. The best thing to be achieved and presented to the population in the field of cooperation here in the Egyptian International Petroleum Exhibition Conference and Optic in Riyadh. So we have seen that 2023 is going to provide us with a great deal. In this perspective, let's give a great glimpse in this year, because we are in the end of this pandemic. So I'm glad to be here with you today with the presence of His Excellency. It's a great institution that gather all the heads, and Egypt is one of the most important components in this perspective. And I think markets now give us a great note that we are in danger, and all the states statistics needed and we need to have from the international fund declares that the demand is decreasing, and it is back again as before the pandemic. And we are going some consider that the gap between the demand and offering, it is because of the OPEC, because the OPEC is not generating as much. So as in the United States of America, it's witnessing a great change and supplies from other than the OPEC. So it needs a kind of supplies. So it is not going to be provided with the investments needs. That's what we're talking about of the Secretariat of the OPEC. So we need more investments in this perspective for more than $12 billion in the coming years. So here we're talking about $645 billion in the coming years till 2030 in order to be able to achieve a great deal in solving the problem that we were facing, because we were having a great deal in increasing of the prices. Dr. Al-Mullah has said that we are committed to the climate change, and if we are concerned about the general transformation, we should take the measures needed, because people are now talking and thinking about the power transformation in order to achieve these transitions. And so the heads of the 20th edition last year and the year before that said that the international fund running the discussion to achieve this message on the ground. So when the crisis started to be known, my sister in California said to me that what is the role of the OPEC, because the ganon in America is increasing for $5. So they want to know what's happening all around the world in the power sector. So I'm hoping that from the discussion holders here to give us a great glimpse and a quick one tomorrow about the whole situation. The last year the President participated with us with comments, because we are having a great rule. Would you like to comment? You have commented that the Russian and Ukrainian position is going to provide solutions, but Lebanon and Israel is now working on the economic positions, because power is a great bridge of cooperation in the region. I would like to thank you and welcome you here in Egypt, all of you, in the 8th edition of Egypt International Petroleum Exemption Conference. I would like it to be very thoughtful. This conference, all the efforts exerted with the companies of search and survey, these companies are going to be the great components of this conference to achieve its own components, where there are many searches and achievements and also discoveries in Israel and in Egypt in other countries. So this gas is going to be delivered to Europe. I think it's going to decrease the demand and also the pressure there in the Ukrainian and Russian war. So I would like to end this with a comment here. Our companies and also the partner companies, you have been affected with the emissions and also the demand of gas and power during the past years. So it also it affected in the power of also investments in the freya and gas and petroleum sector. So the offering side is not as we have hoped. So when the two COVID and also the Russian-Ukrainian war happened, so the prices are would increase. So it means that we are not going to be affected with the position. So we are going to work with it. And thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you again for holding.
Mr. President, thank you for your own comment.
Created today the Egypt
Today, this trade created by Egypt during this event, which is going to be run on the coming power and petroleum conference. Thank you for what we have provided, and I would like to celebrate and applaud for this session, and we are thanking you for your own listening. Thank you, dear guests. It was fast. In the end of the session of the conference, I would like to call you, Your Excellency, to start the activities of the exhibitions with the Conference of Petroleum Egypt. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency.
مستمرون مع حضراتكم مشاهدينا الكرام في تغطية فعاليات معرض ومؤتمر إيجيبس 2023 في نسخته السادسة، والذي يحظى بتشريف وحضور السيد الرئيس عبد
With the
الفتاح
presence of His Excellency and the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Wealth. This conference, Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition Conference 2023, of giving great importance in this perspective with the challenges that we have faced all over the world. The importance of this conference making Egypt which is a great event here in the north of Africa, and also have a great impact which is being gained in its sixth and also other edition held with the presence of a great number of the heads and also international companies in the field of gas and petroleum sector. So this is going to be a great positive impact all over the partnerships held between these countries, and also having the investment chance in the field of in this sector. So this exhibition with the Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition Conference has 500 exhibits and 15 countries. This country having a great rewards in the field of sustainability and equalness of power. So this conference during other editions in the field of industrial of powers to achieve a great deal in the investments and customers. So it's going to give a great program to be held and accredited. It's going to be accredited and be done on the reality from now till 15 of this current month. We are having 70 or more than 70 discussion sessions. So, with the heads of companies and head of states concerned with power and petroleum and gas and industries. And also there is something related also to with the 27th edition of COP held in Sharm el-Sheikh. This thing and this matter is related to the power and supply of powers and how it is affected, all these countries being affected in the field of climate change. So it's a great important, it's a great deal to be held. So to the idea of dealing with decarbonization and energy transition and its emissions. So talking about the importance giving from 200 of speakers and also heads of companies and heads of states and 70 discussion sessions held with the participations of 11 petroleum ministries and 7 secretariat in the international organization and 14 ministries of international companies have a great importance to put the light on the matters related to this conference here, and also in addition to the strategic role played by Egypt here. It is also important here that in North of Africa and also Mediterranean, supporting the international demand and offer of sustainable energy. It's a great presence year after year from the decision makers in this perspective. You know, it means that some people related to this perspective means that there is a great development in this perspective between countries during the operation, because, you know, Africa is aggregate for many countries all over the world, especially Egypt. And also in the north of Africa for the countries neighboring. So Egypt is now more important with, you know, this conference is has a great importance because of the ending of the war between Ukraine and Russia. So this is something related to the decision makers and officials needed for this prospective gas and petroleum sector to find other means to deal with the for the strengthening these challenges between Russia and the Western Europe and the Western countries. So it also affected it negatively all over the petroleum and energy sector, which is going to stop its own prosperity and its development. So we should have a great step because of this severe winter that we are witnessing. So great distinguished attendees and audiences, we have achieved a great deal in this perspective year after year. With this yearly conference, Egypt has a great important role to play. This platform is to encourage and to have all these leaders in the field of petroleum and oil and gas to be here in Egypt, with also accompanied with the companies of related technologies in order to post its own growing, to offer great partnerships international partnerships, to have a great discussions between decision makers in petroleum sector all over the world. The role of Africa in this perspective regarding the challenges faced in the whole world, as what we have seen through the Ukrainian and Russian war, has a negative impact on this perspective and the supplying of power. So from this perspective, as we have talked before in COP27, has a great and positive effect in taking care of, through discussions in this edition, 6th edition, speaking in detail about the green energy to preserve environment in a very prosperous way in order to decrease emissions and decarbonization and hydrogen, and also transformation and also oil industries. We are going to discuss this in the 6th edition of Egypt International Petroleum Exhibition Conference, talking about investments and equal having of petroleum, and also providing supplies needed to face the changes and great challenges all over the world witnessing. So they put a great plan. So it also covers providing all the power sectors needed in order to be considered in its 6th edition. From inside the exhibition, speaking in detail about the importance of the 6th edition, we are honored here to have in this discussion Engineer Mohammed Fathi, working in the companies in the private sector in this energy sector. Good morning. Let's talk about the Egypt's is important in the sixth edition, how it is important, how this its round is important, because I think the most important effect here, it gives a great deal in the last years to increase the trust of the participants of the conference with its own sixth edition of the last successful editions, which are going to add more success to the current edition with the participations of international companies and states internationally. Engineer Mohammed, there are many challenges that we're facing in the in power and energy sector. You know, one of the challenges, you know, the Western countries are concerned with have a great cooperation between themselves and Africa in order to provide the supply of energy for the Western countries in order to have many supplicants. What are these, how these are going to participate in our success? My own point of view is that Egypt is a great center in this perspective, which are going to add a great importance from importance of African countries, especially Egypt, because it's going to add the trust and ensure the trust all over Africa and especially Egypt, and also have a company and the private sectors in this field, sea sector and wells, having also the early production in order to extract raw oil and to be equipped in addition to other fuels needed in other private companies in order to develop the actions, and also works between the international companies and the industrials of energy. You know, the well and sea digging, as you have tackled, your own company is concerned with this perspective. How much Egypt has achieved a great deal in this perspective, because we didn't give a great deal for this. You know, it is socially regarding the private sector. You know, we were depending on the foreign countries, but now we are achieving a self-sufficient using the great digging machines in the sea and whales. It's going to be a great component in this perspective, and it's going to achieve and increase the trust in our field of work from people who are concerned with this work, in order to, because we have achieved a great deal in this work. You know, the private sector generally has a great deal on these conferences, you know, regarding the last editions, 5 ones. Do they add to this 6th edition deeply or greatly? And also talking about COP27, its own great impacts on the development of the work and of the power, you know, increases the importance of this sector to find safe means of dealing with the climate change, and to decrease them or to stop them with own infected with others. I can see it is one of the major things that we were increasing our importance. You know, we are decreasing the idea of we are doing decarbonizations in the field of taking all over the working sectors and systems all over the company. Yeah, I'm thanking you.
في مجال الحفر البري والبحري.
So our audience, as we have seen, the Egypt's International Petroleum Exhibition Conference, as we are seeing right now, the arrival of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the location of the exhibition in its 6th edition. The President has arrived. Would you please? Good morning, everyone. Meet all the youth of the future. We are giving a great importance to the digital transformation here. All the states, all the government states are going to give their own bits, and all these things related are here. So we do have many partnerships and the bets done in the last period of time. So we are hoping it's going to be more fruitful. Please, Your Excellency. So the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnesses the inauguration of the petroleum show.
عندهم انتاج لينا غاز في البحر المتوسط برضه وشغالين في استكشافات. بقالنا 50 سنه في مصر.
We are here for 50 years in Egypt and we would like to stay here in Egypt achieving many success. Yes, you are here. Welcome to Egypt. Welcome to have you here. Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning. Yeah, welcome. We are committed in this perspective, and we are keen for achieve a great deal in our partnerships, Your Excellency.
Let's see project.
Absolutely, that's what we do.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. وإني جاي مكان كلاودي بقى عشان ما يجيش. Thank you very much. السلام عليكم. السلام.
Welcome back. That was live broadcasting